So this is a quick video for you, Tom, just to kind of walk you through the website. So also we've got the menu bar at the top here: Home, Portfolio, Stories, Services and Contact. In many ways, Home is the most important page because, of course, that's where people will be starting their journey as they come onto the Fox website. But I'll come back to that in a moment. There's a few elements on here, but let me return to that in a second. Let's click on the first one, Portfolio. So, at risk of stating the obvious, obviously I've put in various headlines and in some Latin text as placeholder text. Of course, that can all be changed. I also added some images as examples, just to illustrate where things might go and how you might use this. So, what I've done here, as you can see, we've got a number of images that have been added with a kind of headline. And as you sort of scale around and hover over an image, the image enlarges and the sort of text disappears to sort of give you a better view of the image. And then the intention and thoughts here, and perhaps portfolio, maybe that's not the perfect word, I'm not sure. It should basically have any images here, almost like you were taking a Polaroid, and you might have a little snapshot of a particular site or a particular project, and you're going to have a headline. Just to talk about that. And I think where possible you should make these images look quite informal, and pictures of you and your team working, your pictures of you and your customers, pictures of any of the work you produced, etc. And you can click on show more. That will reveal more pictures, as you can see below. Now it can do, if you actually want to put a lot of information against one of these pictures, you can add basically as much text as you like and kind of create a whole blog out of that. I know I'm not sure if you would want to do that. I'm not sure it's necessary, but there is an option available to you if you do so. I need to sort of tidy up the sort of start of this page if there is something you want to do. So just to be clear, if you did want to add text to any of these kind of photographs that you add, then we can add in information and give it its own page. So I'm just going to go back, and then I'm going to go over to Stories. So Stories is, I've called it Stories, or Customer Stories. This is what would normally be called a blog. Where the intention here is that you would put together a brief summary of working with a particular client, or a particular challenge, a particular project, for example. Now, as you hopefully know by now, deliberately made the whole site very sort of photographic, because you've got such great imagery, and what you do is about creating views ultimately. So I think it's important that we have a lot of imagery. So here we've got a brief introduction into this section. So here you might talk about, below is a collection of stories, experiences, experience with my customers. And then below that you're going to have a picture, a title, also I don't know these people's names, maybe the name of the people you're working with or the title of the project, and then some text. Here is just a summary, so you can see there's, I think we put in 3 different images here, 3 or 4 different images. And let me just point out one thing here. We've got one here, private master blog style. Now, no one else other than an administrator, that basically means me or you, can see this page here. So don't worry that it appears to be repeated. It's not for anybody else viewing this page. The reason I have that is then I can duplicate that blog, change the image, change the headline, and then all the styling and all the technical details are correct rather than having to create it from scratch each time. So that's the reason why it looks like you've got a repeated article there. And with any of these, again, you've got a picture, title, and some text. And if we want to read more, we can click on any one of these, and then the corresponding page will load up. So you'll have the title will be big, you'll have the same image, and here, if you have a lot more text, it would then be displayed. Just to be really clear, if you add lots and lots of text to this particular blog, you still only get a summary, a brief paragraph summary in that previous page. People can also add comments here, and we'll add you as an administrator, so you'll have a nice image of you as the author of these articles as well. So we just go back a step. So now back to those stories. And of course you can add more stories as and when you need to, and that's all done via the back end in a separate conversation. I'll explain how that is accessed, and probably better to do that once you've actually got this over to your own website. So move on to services. And I come up with 3 different topics. You could, of course, could have more, or you might want to change the names of these. Attention is here we've got forestry, landscaping and nursery currently, and a brief paragraph of text for each of those. And if you click on learn more, and actually I think I actually want to do this in a slightly different way. If you click on learn more, then you will automatically be moved down the page to that particular section. So here you can put more information about this particular discipline, forestry. Use a nice image to sum up that and give any details you wish. I don't know if you want to be mentioning things like prices, etc. I'm kind of guessing you don't, but that is an option to you if you wish to. I think what your main call to action is really just to get people to contact you. So if I were you, I'd be saying, you know, if you need, for your forestry needs, contact us for a free quote, a no obligation free quote, something like that. Same again for landscaping, same again for nursery, and if there are other disciplines such as furniture, etc., then of course we can add those here as well. Move over to contact, and we've got, I thought it was actually really important just to keep it a little bit Tom heavy and try and introduce you as a sort of personality. It's always much more attractive for a prospect to know who they're dealing with. So if they're contacting somebody individually, that's much more attractive and easy to do than contacting a business. So that's the sort of language I've used, but again, you can change the language here. So here, sometimes you put a little paragraph of text just to encourage people. And once we've got phone numbers, emails, and perhaps an address, actually I think you sent me the address now, we'll put those details in here so they can contact you via those routes, or they can just complete a form below. And once they hit send, once you've got it wired up to your email, that will come through to you as a message. So that's all the pages there. Then we go back to the home page. The reason I come back to the home page last is because home page is really kind of a little bit of all of these pages. So we've got, I think I've loaded in 3 different images with a kind of headline statement for each of them, and we've got a big contact button. I actually think I need to wire up that contact button, so let me just quickly make a note of that. And this is the image just to kind of draw them in and give a little snapshot of what it is you do. A little paragraph of text about how you go about doing your services. And we've got 3, well, I'd like to think are quite appropriate, nice quotes here over a beautiful background. Again, if you wish to use different quotes, you can do. Then talk about a bit in very much a summary format, a brief summary of what your services do, and that will match the summary at the front of the services page. Then an image, as an example, and then we've got a few kind of case stories which they can see, and what we can do is once you've written these, we can actually link these through to your actual stories. So in the future, when you've got lots and lots of stories, we may not have more listed here. I think we'll always have, I think 4 is a good number actually, so maybe your top 4, most recent 4 customer stories. They can just click on here and go straight through to those stories if they wish to. Or if they wish to make contact, then they can do so directly from this homepage. So that's the call to action really, is, get in contact with us. So that's it. It's a summary of the Fox page. Hope you like it. Really what I would like to do is get your approval on the design, the layout, the structure of it. If that's all good, then that's great. The content, pictures, text, headlines, etc., that can all come later. Probably the second, after getting your approval, probably the second stage is actually to move this over to your website. And once you've got that purchased, we can go about doing that as soon as possible. Okay, that's all for me, and hopefully speak to you soon.